Hello, I'm Rick Steiner. Welcome to Lux Life Discovered. My guest today is Jesse Foy with Foy Films. And so, Jesse, thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so tell us, what exactly is Foy Films? Let's hear about this.
Well, Foy Films is kind of the name for my production company, the films that I make, the name of my YouTube channel. I'm a filmmaker, I'm a photographer, and I came up with that name probably 15, 20 years ago, and that's just kind of what sticks. But if anything, like, I'm just the filmmaker, but Foy Films is just kind of like the brand for the production. It's Jesse Foy, Foy Films, kind of goes together hand in hand.
So, what began your journey as a filmmaker?
As I was growing up as a child, my mom used to act in soap operas and a few commercials, and she used to model. Then she gave that up to raise my sister and I. Okay. And I think just always hearing the stories of the behind the scenes and how things came together and were made, it just really always intrigued me. It piqued my interest, and from the earliest age I can remember, I would grab my parents' I don't know what kind of, like, VHS camcorder. I feel like it was, at my age and my size, fit over my shoulder. And I'd go around and I'd make little videos with my sister. And then we'd put the VHS into the VHS player and we'd play it back and watch it. And I just, from the earliest age I remember, I've always been interested in movie making and filmmaking. Yes, sir.
Well, good. So how has that evolved through the years?
Well, with technology, it's been a lot easier. Yeah. I can pull out my phone versus, put a camera over my
little piece of equipment now rather than the big handheld and all of that.
Exactly. So, and because of social media, I'm able to, rather than gather my few family members around and sit in front of a TV and watch it, I can stream my films, online for the world to see. And so that has given me a huge output to be able to share the content I create and then get feedback and honestly just be able to grow in my craft.
Okay. So kind of give us a little background on the type of films that you produced and where they can be viewed and kind of the results from that.
Yeah. So I'm story is always at the heart of everything I do. I love humans. I love the way the brain works. I love a lot of documentary work. I've done a lot of documentary work in the past. I've done a lot of commercial work and travel videography around the world, but more so, my heart is in screenwriting and directing. So the goal is to one day just be a screenwriter and director, but right now I kind of have to do everything at once. So the stories are always on a lot of human interest pieces, a lot of inspirational stuff. I'm a big fan of inspiring, leaving people better than how they were when they first started. So I do a lot of that and a lot of short films. That's kind of my main thing lately is more short films, and all my work is on YouTube or at any of my social media handles. You can see everything on there. So,
okay.
Yes, sir.
And then, so your subjects for the talent you use in your videos, your films, how do you find those? Because you surrounded yourself with a sharp group of people to work with, and that's huge in this business. So how did you build that connection with those individuals?
I think social media has been such a huge tool in my growth and then being able to connect with other people. I think through social media, I've been able to reach out to individuals who I find have a certain amount of talent that I feel like I could, use for my film projects, or people that just I'm interested in what they do, and we end up connecting and then eventually collaborating. So I was just thinking about it earlier today. I was like, I have such an incredible group of friends that I feel like I've kind of curated through social media over the past decade of my life, just kind of reached out to different people, and now we have this circle of just creative, connected group of people who I'll be like, oh, I'm shooting a film, you want to help? And I have people fly down from all over the place to come help me out and volunteer their time to just, towards my vision, which is humbling and incredible.
Right. So all of your talent is not local necessarily?
Not all of it, no. Okay. Obviously, I have a few really talented friends who are in the area, but yeah, a lot of the talent that I use or that help me out in my projects are from all over America.
Okay, and you had spent some time in LA, is that right?
I do.
I remember we touched on that a little bit, but so tell us about that as well.
So I Just, LA is where the industry is, and that is eventually where I'd like to hopefully probably migrate over to. But I just can't get away from the Emerald Coast, and will always be home. I'm so grounded when I'm here. And so I bounce back and forth. I'll spend a lot of time in LA, and then I'll come back here and refresh and regroup. Then I'll go back out to LA for weeks or months if I need to and come back. So, and luckily I have some good friends out in LA who I can stay with when I'm there. So I'll crash at someone's couch or crash in someone's room when they're gone. So I do. I spend a lot of time out there and a lot of time here. I love it out there. The most talented people in the world out there,
Sure, yeah.
But I would say around here, the kindest people in the world around here. So I get a good,
Right, get a good balance
get a good
between
balance.
the two.
Yes.
So you go out there for the creative and to feed your creativity and spark that interest, but then you have to come back and really make it all work here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And pursuing screenwriting, which is my main focus is writing. You can be anywhere in the world. You can screenwrite anywhere you want. So I've been in Bali, I've been in the Philippines, Japan, I've been all over the world. I've been able to just open up my laptop, and when something hits me, I can just write on a plane, I can write on a train, I can write anywhere.
Yeah. So when something hits you, how do you capture that and keep that same like moment of inspiration and then bring it to life later?
When an idea hits me, which, things can come up anytime throughout the day, I kind of mull over it. I think about it for a while, and then I try to write an hour every day. And so every day I'll get behind the computer, and sometimes I'll just all string of consciousness, just write it all out as it comes to me. Or sometimes I've been kind of marinating on an idea for a while, and I don't want to put it on paper until it's really fleshed out in my head. I'll wait a week or so, and then I'll put it down on paper. And then from there, it's like the skeleton, and you slowly build around it as you go. Yes, sir.
So do you ever get to like where you're putting on paper and you start, like mapping it out and you're like, ugh.
Yeah. Yes, all the time. I rewrite over and over and over again. I just wrote what I thought was a really good short film. I got about 8 drafts in, so 8 rewrites, and then I sent it to some friends, and someone said he basically took it apart and said, you could do this, 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 and I just went, delete it all. So my 9th draft is just I'm starting over from the ground again.
Gosh.
So, but that's the fun of it.
I know you have to have the people that are honest with you when they, read your drafts to give you an honest opinion. But man, you gotta have some thick skin too, don't you? Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. But it's okay. I grew up with a dad a mom who was acting, a dad who was a bodybuilder and very disciplined. So he's taught me to just like be disciplined and take it. And so when I tell people things, I'm like, don't sugarcoat it. When I send someone out a script to read, I'm like, don't give me the good things about this. Just tell me all the things I did wrong, because I'm going to go back and I'm going to try and fix it.
Right.
So I like to take it tough.
That's a good attitude to have.
Take it tough.
It keeps you on your toes, keeps you alert,
Yes,
keeps
sir.
you focused.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's good.
Absolutely.
So what's in the works right now? Is there anything that you can share that?
Yeah. So I just finished my festival circuit for a short film, a horror short film I did called Don't Run. I just finished that. I won 5 awards. It showed in 12 different festivals around the country, which was incredible. Just kind of got off the hype of the festival run. And I'm in February, I will be starting to work on a new short film project, and it's called Today I Fell in Love. It's totally different from the horror short film.
Yeah.
It's more about, the concept is just 2 elderly people meet in a grocery store and they end up falling in love, and it just kind of follows their love story. So that's the short film I'm working on. In February, going to go into production. And then other than that, I've got like 8 or 9 different short films I'm writing right now to try and hopefully do in the next few years.
So what was it like doing that? Was that your first horror story?
Yeah, the first horror short film, the first real production short I've ever done. So before that, I would do like inspirational things where it's just like me and one other person, and we'd like go to Hawaii and shoot stuff. But this actually had like some actors. We had, people doing gaffing lighting. We had people doing like the boom pole and everything. So there was a lot more involved. So it was my first time to get my friends together and actually do something more production level. And it was tough. I learned a lot, but it was so much fun, and it inspired me to just be like, this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life.
So how was it in casting for that role?
Well, luckily, I have quite a few friends who are in the acting scene or beginner actors, and so I just reach out to them. I don't necessarily cast because I don't have a huge group of people just out there for my reach. I really just have some friends who are talented, so I pull them in. I'm like, hey, come be a part of this. And so it gets to go on my resume for my film projects, and then it gets to go on their resume for something they've been in. So we both win.
And plus, they're invested because the friendship you have, and so they want to make sure they do as good a job as possible.
Absolutely.
So that makes a big difference. So if you weren't doing the filmmaking, what do you think you would be doing?
I would probably be a full-time photographer because that's also kind of what I do a lot as well, as I do a lot of photography. And it goes hand in hand. Filmmaking and photography both go such hand in hand. And so I just love, visual arts. And so I'd definitely be doing photography as I do all the time. I used to shoot a lot of, you know, family members on the beach with the blue jeans and the white t-shirts, the basic stuff. And I've kind of progressed from there and moved my way to now I mainly just shoot like editorial work for models. I shoot a lot of signed models. Agencies will reach out to me and I'll go out on different campaigns and I'll shoot for different models and agencies. And so I really love that. But eventually I'm going to transition out of that and just do filmmaking. But if I didn't do screenwriting and filmmaking, I would for sure be just running around with the camera and taking pictures.
So on your modeling part, on the photography part, what have there been some big campaigns that you've been part of?
Yeah, there have. I shoot a lot more for specific agencies who want to take those photos, but I've done work for Ford models, for Wilhelmina models. I've done work for, as for like more video and photo campaigns, I've been sent with different resort companies. I've worked with Marriott before to go shoot some stuff over there in California. I've worked with GoPro, with LifeProof, a bunch of different camera companies and sports adventure things have gone out and done campaigns for them.
Wow. So to be able to do that, to get paid to travel, I mean, it's a
blessing. Yeah, it's a blessing. It's absolutely a blessing. Yeah.
The more we talk, the more I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, it's just what a bummer.
It's like, okay, why aren't we need to be doing something like that, So but that's really neat because I've seen a lot of your work and it's very impressive. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to reach out to you, because I saw a lot of the photography that you've done, and then I knew about the filmmaking. So then it was like, okay, what does this guy do exactly?
Yeah.
So you do quite a bit.
I do. If it has to do with a camera, I'm probably doing something to do with it. It's shooting photos or filmmaking, or I love cameras, and so.
What would be the one project that you would just consider like the prime opportunity?
I would love to work. That's a really good question. I don't know if I've ever thought about a prime opportunity, because I feel like all the prime opportunities I've been able to, like everything I ever dreamed of doing, I've already done. But my goal in life, so I don't know, this might be a little different answer, but my goal in life is to one day make a movie that like people go to theaters to see, movie theaters. Like my dream is to sit back in a theater with popcorn around a bunch of strangers and be like, I made that. So that's kind of the dream one day.
And then dare them to say something critical.
Yeah, hear them whispering to their friends like, or they're snoring beside me. I'm like, oh no, sinking down in my seat. Yeah, that's the dream. But if hopefully it's good. Hopefully it turns out good.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it will. So let me see. I was thinking about your models that you've shot are all some of the better models for their agency.
Yeah, they are.
And
they are
some sharp-looking young men and women, and some are local, like you said, and then some just come in from different agencies. Do they provide models for you for different events?
They do. They do. They'll need different things done, whether it's headshots or whether they just want something done for a magazine. I don't ever end up seeing where it goes. I just shoot it, send it off, and it goes all over the place. I've had my work on billboards before, which has been really cool. Maybe one day I'll be in Times Square, but and then just doing that, just shooting different work.
So do you like to push the edge with your filmmaking and your photography?
Yeah, I at least like to push myself. I always like to make it a little more difficult, a little harder, something a little more complicated for myself. Always trying to push it to the next level. I never want to just be comfortable in what I'm doing. I always want to make it harder on myself because then I feel like I grow.
Yeah, so that's where you grow and you learn more what you're capable of achieving and what you can accomplish. And
absolutely.
So many people get content and coast, and that's when the decline starts.
Exactly. So, I always say be content, just don't be comfortable. Like it's okay to be always be. When I say content, I mean be grateful. Be grateful for where you're at, but don't be comfortable. Like always keep yourself uncomfortable in everything you do.
Oh yeah, you get comfortable too long, and then it's like, okay, something's happening here. I'm not liking it. So I've been in that spot before where I thought, everything's going well. I can just kind of like.
I do. I will tend to take my models out in that area a lot, and we'll shoot some stuff. I mean, there's so many beautiful landscapes around here. And the cool thing about here versus like LA is that you need permits everywhere you go if you're going to shoot something. And everything over there is so been shot so many times, but this place is still like a hidden gem, a lot of people call it. Not everyone has seen everything here, so I love this area for that.
Well, and speaking of it, there's like a lot of these different private areas of homes that are, totally unbelievable.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
most people have no clue that that's like right here, just down the street, in these little subdivisions that you don't really notice. And all of a sudden you go in and you're like, wow, this is
Yeah,
magnificent.
yeah, you'd never know. It's definitely a beautiful place.
Oh, it is. It is. So, your filmmaking. So let's say, how many films have you done? Did you say?
Oh, I I've done over probably 2 dozen different short films, for YouTube, and that's all. I just promote it on. I post all my stuff for people to watch online. So about 2 dozen.
So, what would be? Of course, it's really kind of hard to say a number that you'd like to shoot for because it's really all about the right moment and the right plan that comes to you. It's not just a number. So that's just always intriguing to me because telling Jared earlier, I have no music ability. So it's amazing to me that somebody can perform and do that live and do it with such confidence because I couldn't do it.
Yeah, same. Me
And,
neither.
but what you're doing though, that takes a special talent and creative instinct to be able to do that. So
Well, thank you.
that's always interesting. I always love learning about other people's passion and what drives them, and what's that force behind that makes it work.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. I have a goal to make 10 short films, 10 more short films, and then I'm going to hopefully by the time I make my 10th one, I'll be ready to make my first feature film. So that's my goal over the next few years.
How did you set 10 short before you do the feature?
That's just the number I came up with, and I thought about there's like about 10 or so, around 10 different ideas I can write as a shorter story. But I have so many like long ideas I have in my head that are gonna take up a long time of writing, and so I'm like, okay, I feel like by the time I've done 10 and they've been out to festivals, by then hopefully I'll be able to land a writer's manager and I'll be able to make more connections. It'll bring me to different people. By then my work will show for itself, and then I'll be able to have a foot in the door to be able to do something like a big feature film. So
Okay, and you brought up a good point that I meant to ask earlier. The Writers Festival or the film festivals. How do you know about all the different film festivals? And I'm sure you're constantly learning of different ones that are new or that have been in the works. But so how were you able to submit those?
There's actually a website specifically that I go to, and it's called Film Freeway. And on that site, they have like almost every festival registers with this site. So it makes it easy. You upload your film and then you go through and you just select, and all festivals do have an entry fee, and then you go through and you kind of see the ones that are more popular, that more people write reviews about, the ones I've heard about, and then you submit to those festivals. So I'll submit, each time I make a short film, I'll probably go through and submit somewhere between 10 to 15 different festivals that I feel like like for example, I made a horror film, so I submitted it specifically to horror film festivals, and you have more of a chance doing that. And so that's how you kind of find the festivals. And the great thing is when you put it there, if they get selected, like my most recent film, I said 12 different festivals, and through that you get publicity. People learn about it, people go watch it. You have different managers and agents watching those festivals, and they see a film and go, "Ooh, this was done well. Let's reach out to this guy and see if he has more things he's working on." And that's kind of how you grow as a filmmaker.
Okay, interesting.
Yes, sir.
Didn't know that. No, that's interesting how all the different, interests have little areas you can go to learn more about that. So has there been a big, like a surprise that you've discovered along the way, or somebody contacted you that you were totally unexpected by?
When it comes to a festival?
Yeah.
I've had different festivals actually reach out to me when my films will do a little more successful than I expected at festivals. I will have a festival reach out and say, "Hey, I want to, will you submit to here?" And also on top of that, sometimes I'll have really talented people reach out to me and just say, "I love your work. Like, let's talk. Let's write a film together." Most recently with this horror film that I did that did really well, was totally unexpected by me, totally blew me away how well it did in the festival run. I've had different people, a whole line of new actors I can use for my future projects who've been like, "I love this. I want to work with you." And so, it's been really great to have different people who are so much more talented than I am just reach out and say, "We love your work. we want to work together.
So is there a horror film in the
No, I hate horror films. I don't even watch horror movies. I close my eyes, but
you may have not realized your market.
I know. I'm not a fan. All my friends know I don't watch horror films, but this was just an idea that could be done within the budget and means that I had to do it, and the limited amount of energy I could put into it and friends that could put energy into it. And so that's just the idea I came up with, and I wrote it and I made it, and I'm going to all these horror film festivals, to support my film. And there's these scary movies playing, and I'm like, I'm never making a horror film again. I have to watch all these movies before mine plays. So no longer. Yeah. I'm like, this is not my scene, and yet here I am. What am I doing here?
I want mine to play, but I want to go first.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's
I didn't think about that. So you have to sit through everybody.
I do, and some people are so good and they're so scary, and I'm like, I can't watch this. I said, next film I make will be an easy drama, chill. It'll be nice. I don't have to go to these horror film festivals.
No, you're gonna get the right offer. You're just be like, awesome! I can't wait to do that.
Yeah.
You'll sit through the screening.
Yeah. Yeah. Scream 9 will reach out and say, we want you to help write this. And I'm like, okay, here we go. All over again.
Oh, you'll be excited if they do.
I will.
So when you since horror is not your main thing, what was it like with some of the actors in that particular film? Were they kind of the same way, but did they pull it off?
They did, yeah. They were really well. In fact, most of my friends do like horror films, so they're all for it. But they did well. They all enjoyed it. I made my roommate be the creature in the film, so I put him in a suit, made him crawl around on the ground, and he didn't really enjoy that, but I kind of forced him into. But everyone else really enjoyed it. They had a good time. So
just part of paying the dues.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, good. So the next 6 months. What should we expect from you?
The next 6 months, I'm hoping to get out and be able to make maybe 2 to 3 short films. So that's what you'll be seeing. Fingers crossed, as hands folded. But I'm hoping to do some more shorts. They're already written. I just have to get together and go make them. And they'll all be shot in the area, all in the Emerald Coast area. Okay. And luckily, I'll be able to pull in my talented friends to help do it.
Yeah. So and then. You don't have to have a lot of permits in this area, so that makes it much easier.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows? If I do a really good film and it takes off, and everyone's going to be like, "We got to go shoot stuff here." You never know.
Like, okay, we can make some money off
that. Exactly.
But if that's the case, then that means you're doing well, and we're okay.
Absolutely.
So,
yes.
Well, good. All right. Well, if you will, tell people how to find more information about you again.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to find more, all my stuff is on my Instagram page, which is Instagram, JesseMe93. If you want to reach out to me directly, you can. It's jesseme93@gmail.com. And then the horror film that we've been just talking about, it's called Don't Run, and it's on YouTube. So youtube.com/FoyFilms. It's my YouTube page, and you can go there and check it out for yourself and laugh at it and see how much further I have to learn and grow as a filmmaker. So
how long is the film?
It is, I think it's just around 4 minutes long.
All right, I may go watch it. I'm not a big horror person.
Don't worry, I think you'll be able to handle this one.
I'll have to check that out as well. All right, well, Jesse, thanks so much for being with us.
Absolutely.
Today. Great to meet you.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for another episode of Lux Life Discovered. We will see you soon.
Check out Lux Life Discovered on Facebook and Instagram and on 30a.tv. See you next time on Lux Life Discovered.